Selamat datang. Welcome to the 27th annual meeting of AFLA, the Austronesian Formal Linguistics Association, hosted by the National University of Singapore. Since the first meeting in 1994, AFLA has met annually around the world, becoming a regular venue for cutting-edge work on all aspects of the grammar of Austronesian languages. Work presented and discussed at AFLA has deeply improved our understanding of the languages of this family, one of the largest in the world, and also enriched our understanding of the nature of language itself. Indeed, many of us here share the perspective that the study of individual languages can inform the broader questions and foundational directions of linguistic theory more generally. So the study of languages of this region is therefore doubly important, both in deepening our knowledge of these languages and cultures, as well as in contributing to and informing these broader questions of linguistic theory. Equally important is the fact that AFLA has gained a reputation as a warm and inviting community that warmly welcomes new members and works hard to invest in young scholars. For many of us, AFLA is not just an intellectual community, it's an intellectual home. For many of you, this may be your first AFLA, and so we welcome you and encourage you to participate fully in all aspects of the program. Feel free to reach out to any of the organizers who I'll be introducing if you have any questions on how to do so. And for the regulars, welcome back. It's great to see you. And so, especially now, in this challenging time for many, we thought it was vital to maintain this sense of community. And for that reason, we're very happy to be able to bring you AFLA27 online. Let me briefly walk you through what we have in store for the next few days. First, I want to highlight two firsts of AFLA27. One is, of course, the virtual format, right? This is the first virtual AFLA. We are excited about this, first because we might actually pull it off, and second of all, because it potentially allows AFLA to have a much broader reach intellectually, to bring in new members, to welcome new members to our audience, and also, as I'll explain, to perhaps share the research and conversations that happen here with a broader audience longer term. This is also the first, I believe, AFLA in Nusantara, referring to the archipelago of the Malay world, which you can see behind me. And so, although unfortunately most of you are not here physically with us, through our hosting, we are claiming this as the first AFLA in Nusantara and are very excited to do so. In the next 3 days, which you may perceive, depending on where you are, as 4 days, we have organized the program into 6 blocks. This includes 22 regular talks, as well as 5 esteemed plenary speakers who we invited. This includes Kilu von Prince of Humboldt University, Apai Tang of National Donghua University in Taiwan, Lauren Clemens of the University of Albany, Alex Smith of University of North Texas, and Kopa van Urk of Queen Mary University of London. We want to note, again, based on that commitment to supporting junior scholars, we have chosen 5 speakers who are less senior members of the AFLA community, and all of whom have never been an invited speaker at AFLA before. So we're very excited to bring these new, although familiar faces and highlight their work as plenary speakers. Let me briefly introduce the format. So all talks will be on Zoom. So if you're here, you're in the right place. Regular talks will be 20 minutes plus a 10-minute question session. The invited talks will be longer. During the talks, we will be disabling the Zoom chat and unmuting functions. Then after each talk, we have this 10-minute question session. Please indicate in the chat will be enabled then. Please indicate in the chat, just note that you have a question, and the chair will call on you to unmute yourself, or you can write your question in the chat and the chair will read it out if you would prefer. Please note that we may call on questions out of order in order to prioritize junior scholars and voices that haven't been heard in that session yet. These talks and question period videos will be recorded and posted online as soon as possible after each block. This is for a couple reasons. So one is to facilitate engagement within the AFLA community across time zones, which is obviously challenging. The second reason is for longer term distribution of these findings and these conversations that take place at AFLA to a broader audience online. For that purpose, we will strongly encourage speakers to keep their videos online after the AFLA period, after the next week or two, but we will be asking presenters for their permission and confirmation to do so. After each section of talks, which is 2 or 3 talks, there is a break. And in each of the breaks, of course, feel free to step away, log off, get coffee, make sure your family is alive. But also, if you would like, you can stay here in the Zoom room. We are leaving this space open for all of you to continue to discuss the research that was just presented. So we have asked presenters to, if possible, stay in their Zoom room after their talk in that break following their session. So that would be a great time if you have a question that you didn't get a chance to ask, or if you have a more detailed question or want to engage in a conversation between different presenters, that would be a great time to do so. These sessions will not be recorded. We also are experimenting with social sessions on this website, gather.town. If you are not familiar with this, we will introduce this later as well. You should have received a link. This is basically an old school role-playing game. So you walk around and you see other people and approach them. And when you are close, you can talk to them. It's almost like real life. So that's how we will be doing the social sessions, beginning with the graduate student mixers today in the first sessions, and then for our conference dinner, snack, lunch later. And finally, for those of you presenting, proceedings this year will be hosted by the University of Western Ontario. Thanks to Elena Paul, just as it has been in some previous years. So we'll be in touch with presenters later to encourage them to submit their work. I want to highlight the work of the team at NUS that has made AFLA27 possible. This includes our RA Keely New, who will soon be going on to MIT to begin her PhD. Kenyon Brannon, our postdoc, whose work you can see in the last block of talks. Henrison Xie is currently at McGill completing his PhD, but we hope and fully intend to welcome him very soon here as a postdoc. We're excited that he's been able to help us out even remotely. I'm Micho, and my colleague Jung is also an assistant professor in linguistics at NUS. This has been the AFLA team this year. We want to tell you a little bit about AFLA next year. So we have this exciting news from the business meeting that AFLA28 will be held in 2021, probably earlier in the year, closer to a regular AFLA time, likely in a fully online format again. It will be co-organized, at least led by a team at McGill and here at NUS, taking advantage of that apparent McGill to NUS pipeline that exists. So please stay tuned for more information on that. We will also send out a survey to AFLA27 participants afterwards in order to get feedback on what worked, what didn't, what would be best for the format for next year and timing. And so there will be an opportunity to get your voices and also for others to get involved as well if they would like. Finally, I want to thank these organizations and individuals including, importantly, the Singapore Ministry of Education, who financially supported AFLA, and the Singapore taxpayers in the audience. Thank you for paying your taxes. We are supported by our department. Linguistics is housed in the Department of English Language and Literature at NUS. This year, we have tried to organize pop-up mentoring organized by the LSA's Committee on the Status of Women in Linguistics, COSWL. Unfortunately, some of you may not have had a chance to sign up for this earlier, but AFLA speakers and regulars hopefully are participating in this. And of course, our reviewers and our lab's RAs, who include Carl Leon, who is running the timer, as well as JJ, Joey, Megan, and Wunkai, who will be helping out with sort of room management and all sorts of other tasks throughout. So thank you very much. And with that, that's all I have to say in my welcome. Please feel free to write the organizers throughout if you have any questions. This is probably the best way to do so, the AFLA_XXVII@gmail. And we're going to get started with our first block of talks in just a minute. Okay, thank you very much.